Bitcoin, you can't really understand what strategy is doing it. So you're looking at it through the wrong lens. And what do
This Crypto Lord Nathan. Today we are looking at something that I talked to you about not long ago in our videos. You can really see that I made mention about strategy. That is from Michael Saylor. Yes, this is what I'm trying to hit on it. Strategy now is like a big company that is really doing impressive even in the market right now. What they do currently in within 30 seconds or within 5 seconds, I want to tell you this is the best ever explanation about strategy, and I think this news really get to you at the right time. Don't scroll anywhere, try to watch. If you are new to our channel, do us a favor, smash on the like button, subscribe to our channel, that whenever we drop in news, you'll be the first person to get news of. All right, so let's really head on and listen to the best explanation ever of Michael Saylor's strategy.
so new and groundbreaking, most people don't understand Bitcoin. Of course, Jeff does. We've talked about it for hours and hours and hours. But because you understand Bitcoin, you can't really understand what strategy is doing it. So you're looking at it through the wrong lens. And what do I mean by that? First of all, the whole world, the financial world, is built off discounted future cash flows. So we buy stocks based off of a PE ratio, and we hope that in the future they're going to borrow money, and in the future they're going to invest it into their data center, and hopefully in the future that'll make enough money where they can pay me back. Or I do it through a bond, and I'll loan them money, and I hope they pay me back. So, the Mag 7's trading at a 30, 40, 50 times PE ratio. Hopefully they have the cash flow. What strategy is doing is something completely different. You give them money and they buy the asset. They're not hoping to have cash flow in the future. They have the asset. So look at these charts right here. What we can see right now, $2.2 million in cash, but more importantly, net leverage 11%, debt low is very low. They have 30 months of dividend coverage, but they have 58 years of assets to cover what they owe. Now, if you don't believe in Bitcoin, none of this makes any sense to you. If you believe Bitcoin's going to zero, then this is the stupidest thing in the world. So that being said, I don't think that's the case. Now, some people want to look at either extreme. Either Bitcoin's going to be $1 million or it's going to be zero. No, it doesn't have to be. Bitcoin could also just be 200,000. I don't believe it's going to zero. The chance, as Jeff said, asymmetric bets, the chance of it going to zero is barely zero. So if you don't believe Bitcoin's going to zero, then you look at this company from a different lens. 58 years of assets to cover the dividend, 2.2 million. So that's the first underlying thing. Now, secondly, why would he be selling common stock to buy more Bitcoin? Number one, Bitcoin's down 50%. It's an amazing buying opportunity. Anytime it's around the 200 weekly moving average, it's a historic buy. Number two, what he does is, you can look here, it says MNAV on the right there, 1.2%. So the company is being valued at a 1.2 times book value, price to book, if you'll call it that, right? So what that means is, if he sells common stock to buy more Bitcoin at that price, it's accretive to what he's doing. And MicroStrategy, people need to understand what they're buying at MicroStrategy is they're buying a ratio of Bitcoin per share. So the goal of MicroStrategy is to get the Bitcoin per share higher. So if I buy MicroStrategy, I want exposure to Bitcoin's price. And so I'm expecting him to get the amount of Bitcoin per share higher. That's what I'm buying it for. And anytime he sells common stock above 1, it's accretive for me. So I can kind of stop there.
So it's a smart move on what he's doing.
I think it's a very smart move. Yeah. And now, if you're a common stock holder and you don't understand this, you go, oh, I'm being diluted.
Now, what's the risk, though? What's the worst thing that can happen to Michael?
Yeah, well, the risk would be Bitcoin going to zero and staying there forever. I think the risk of that is very low, almost zero. What a lot of people don't understand is the way that he's built this debt. So what people say is, oh, if Bitcoin drops below 30,000, he'll get liquidated. If it drops below 10,000, he'll get liquidated. None of that is true. No. None of the Bitcoin is pledged as collateral. None of it is callable. So he can allow the stock to crater to $5 or $10, and he can just sit there. And so what? As long as you believe Bitcoin's going to go back higher again. So again, if Bitcoin goes to zero, that is the risk. But he can withstand the storm. He's built up multiple layers of protection. Again, 2.2 billion in cash, or million in cash. And so the greatest risk is Bitcoin goes to zero. As long as Bitcoin doesn't go to zero, there's really no risk. Now, one of the things that he did when he converted MicroStrategy into strategy, when he started doing this about 5 years ago in 2020, he bought out all the people that weren't aligned with us. If you don't believe in what we're doing, get out. Here's your money.
I love that.
All the institutions. What are you doing?
Right. And
your business is over here. Why are you buying all this?
He has control of the company. He's bought out everyone who doesn't believe in it, and all the shareholders that bought in, believing in this MNAV number and the accretive function of what he's doing. And so there's not really a lot of risk unless Bitcoin goes to zero, which, Jeff, you could get probabilities on that. I think it's
I'm with you.
it's a non-zero chance.
No, it's Bitcoin going to zero is not going to happen.
Right.
Not going to happen. And you're right. It's the MNAV that people are. What the market is saying, the stock market is saying, is we believe in Michael Saylor. We're willing to pay a premium for Bitcoin stock, which he's leveraging to buy more Bitcoin. And unlike I have no problem with what he's doing. He's got 2.2 billion in cash, which the biggest mistake that people in finance make is being forced to sell. Because they're overly leveraged, and then something happens in the market, an adverse reaction. They're forced to liquidate, and that's where bad things start to happen.
Forced liquidation. That's
not going to happen with strategy. I'm more concerned about it happening with some of the other copycats.
Sure.
They're probably not in the same situation, but all that's going to do is create a buying opportunity. Let's say Bitcoin continues.
So per the explanation here, you can really see that he's saying that 58 years of asset to cover of what he owns. So all the explanation here talks about it, that indeed Michael Saylor is really doing huge work here, because the company has a lot of investment as at now kept in order to recover even a whole lot of sums of money, even when they lose much of the Bitcoin. Even let's say Bitcoin is to go to zero right now, the only chances, as the speaker man said it in PDB podcast, is only when Bitcoin goes to zero. That is the only chances of them really incurring losses. Even when they incur losses, there are certain things or structures they've put in place to be able to revive or pay back all the dividend that they own, which is really interesting, of course. So that is all I have for you today. Understand that Michael Saylor's strategy is becoming booming. They are becoming the best company to really hold a lot of Bitcoin, and it is really it is really penned down that if indeed the strategy company is able to hold about even 5% of Bitcoin worldwide, it means that and then push it to like 10%. It means the Bitcoin price, as at now we see, can hijack to about $10 million per coin, which is really huge sums of money, and it can really spike the cryptocurrency altcoins that we talk about. Thank you for watching this Crypto Lord Nathan. We'll bring you updates later upon crypto news and other digital assets. Bye for now. See you upcoming videos.